When it comes to your relationship, what jobs do you do? Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Carre and welcome to Your Delicious Life, where each week we take a look at life from a different perspective and we either learn something new or get reminded of something that we already knew. Well, happy Valentine's Day. Today is February 14th, so I wanted to send love out to everyone. Today's episode is of course focused on relationships because it is Valentine's Day. So the title of the episode is Relationships Work When We Allocate Our Strengths. I do a talk called Work-Life Balance is Bullshit. Here's how to create a delicious life. And in this talk, I use an analogy, a delicious one, to illustrate that life isn't about balance. And I actually say and believe that this phrase, work-life balance, has really set us up to fail. And I think this applies in our relationships as well, because we're often told 50-50. But does that actually work? I don't think it does. I think we need to look at our relationships to be more about allocating our strengths and playing into one another's strengths, because the truth is, where you're strong, your partner is probably weak, because we attract the opposite, right? Opposites attract. You've heard that before. So if we focus on allocating our strengths in our relationship, I think things can really work well. And that's what we're going to dig into in this week's episode. You guys know I love a good analogy, so I'm going to use one today, as usual. Now, the analogy I'm going to use for relationships is a puzzle. Now, this whole thing is predicated, though, on the idea that you've actually found someone you want to do a puzzle with. So they're cute and funny and adorable and all the things you look for in a mate. And now you say to yourself, I want to do a puzzle with you. So let's sit down and do the puzzle. Now, when you start a puzzle, you dump all the pieces out. One person is going to gravitate towards finding all those edge pieces, and they're going to figure out where they're probably going to go and start to lay them out. Well, the other person might be better at finding those odd shapes or weird colors or shadows and finding those pieces and putting them where they're likely to go in the puzzle. So different strengths. And the same applies in our relationships. One of you might be a great cook, where the other one might not be. So, for example, in my relationship, I'm not the cook, not at all. In fact, my idea of contributing to the cooking in our home is calling Social Supper, which is a local meal prep company, and ordering a meal from them that all I have to do is stick it in a pot, an Instapot or a crock pot or a stock pot or whatever pot I'm supposed to use. That's my idea of contributing. Now, on the other hand, Matt is an amazing cook. He loves barbecuing. He loves meat. Our last name is Carre, so he actually has a page, or a group rather, on Facebook called Carnivore. And it's just a passion project for him. He loves barbecuing and posting pictures and loves it when other people share ideas, and he's creative. He can put stuff together. So instead of me meddling with the cooking, it's better to let Matt play to his strengths and cook the meals. Now, my strengths lie more on the productivity and processes and systems side. That's how my brain works. That's how I think best. So when it comes to creating a system for our recycling, or how we're going to organize wrapping paper, or just managing the after-school agendas and homework and stuff like that, that's where I shine, because I'm good at creating processes. If we're going on vacation somewhere, I'm the one that's going to look up on Google Maps to see how far things are, figure out what the best hotel is going to be, kind of plan our days out. That's my strength. So Matt is capable of doing those things, and I'm capable of cooking, but instead of forcing one another to do the things we're not great at, why don't we play to our strengths and do the things we're good at and that we love? Now, here's the caveat. There's always that one piece in the puzzle, or maybe a half a dozen of them, that are so annoying. You cannot find them. You spend hours. You think you've tried every single piece left, and it's still not there. Well, life is like that too, my friends. There are dirty, nasty jobs that have to get done no matter what. Picking up the dog poop, changing the diapers, garbage, and a myriad of other smelly, gross things that need to happen in our day-to-day lives and someone in the relationship needs to take care of. Well, when it comes to those jobs, I think it's about kind of looking around and looking at your partner and seeing, look, they're really focused on this particular section of the puzzle. I'll just take care of this one piece that's really annoying and just get it out of the way. Or maybe it's saying, you know what, I really need to get this edge piece connected here and focus on it. Can you help me by looking for that other weird piece we can't find? And asking for help when we need it for those kind of odd jobs in the middle that nobody really wants to do. But we all have to do our part with those ones too and help out where we can. Problems in a relationship start to arise when we start to measure tasks against each other. Well, I did this, so you should do that. That's a pink job, that's a blue job. Well, this isn't really going to help anything. First of all, relationships aren't necessarily pink and blue. I mean, you could have two men, two women. Who does the opposite job in that situation? Or you could have a couple like Matt and I who aren't fixers at all and can't fix things and think changing a light bulb is quite a feat. So like we need a blue job person in our blue and pink relationship. So that structure, although can be a funny joke, is not really a good way to allocate jobs within the relationship. And when we start to measure and compare, well, I did this, so you need to do that, it just creates that animosity. And really, how do you measure that? I mean, how many small jobs does it take to equal a big job? What is a small job? What is a big job? I mean, this is just a rabbit hole of fighting and nastiness that nobody should go down. So instead, if we refocus our thinking and say, well, what are you good at? What am I good at? Well, I can take care of this because that's a strength for me, and I'll take care of this because it's a strength for me. That's a much more productive approach to a relationship. And I'll throw in too that this can work for any relationship. This could be a business partnership. This could be friendships in some cases. This could be, parent-child. There's lots of situations where this makes sense. So really identifying what you're good at and what you can bring to the table and looking for help where you need it is an amazing way to kind of structure the relationship. And that way you're both doing the things that you're best at. And don't you feel awesome when you're doing something you love? I know when Matt makes a meal and it's all out on the cutting board, there's always a cutting board with the meat, right? And it's all laid out there. I mean, there's a sense of satisfaction that he has when he gets to, bring this out, or when he, brings the food to the table for the family. That's an amazing thing for him. And for me, I mean, just looking around the room and seeing the pillows fluffed and everything in its place and a system created, that brings me a lot of joy. I like that. So we feel good when we're doing the things that we are best at. And if we want to show up in this world and live an incredible life and have great relationships, not just with our partners, but with business partners and friends and our children, then we want to be the best version of ourselves. And we're the best version when we're playing to our strengths, because that is when we feel great. So this Valentine's Day, if you and your partner are out for a dinner or having some time together, maybe have a conversation about what your strengths are and how you can each bring your strengths to the table in the relationship. And I really believe that when we see our relationship that way, it can be an incredible shift that just brings so much joy and so much happiness. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have stretchy pants for the rest of the week so you can enjoy your chocolate, and I will see you next week for the next episode.